It's me, your friend Leslie in Castelnaudary. It's my second week living here in Castelnaudary, and you have the privilege of enjoying with me Christmas in Castelnaudary. Here we have a lighted celebration with Christmas market and lighted boats along the beautiful Canal du Midi. So enjoy with me this beautiful Christmas in Castelnaudary. Hello, friends. It's Leslie in Castelnaudary. Did you enjoy that footage of the Christmas port holiday celebration? I know it was really fun for us. It was our first Christmas here in Castelnaudary, and it's just been so great to meet so many lovely people. And one of the biggest reasons why we went was that our daughter joined a local association, is what they call it. And it's for teens from 12 to 18. And teens go to this club after school on Wednesdays, because there's no school on Wednesdays in France, afternoons, and in the evenings up until 10 o'clock and the holidays. And they go and spend time with their friends in a safe, chaperoned place. So no drugs, no alcohol, and no extracurricular activities. They play games, they play cards, they draw, they sing, they dance, and they entertain themselves. And on this particular night, they were raising money for a telethon and doing this for a fundraiser. So my daughter joined them, not speaking French. She understands it, but she doesn't speak it. And fortunately, there were some young people there who also speak English. And for 5 hours, they raised money for charity, making crepes and selling mulled wine and hot chocolate. And she was able to socialize. And for me, that's really important that my children integrate, because that's why we came here, is to give them the French life and to show them the French side of their souls and who they are and their heritage. So that was really cool. And on top of that, this activity here also presents some artisanal things. Farmers and creators from the local region were able to sell their items. And of course, if you're in America, you understand farmers markets. Well, farmers markets are part of normal daily life here. They're not extra special. They're ordinary things, and artisans and farmers can come and sell their goods and sell their food and sell their crafts to the public. And it's just a great way to get holiday gifts. But for me, it's more important to meet people and to learn about this region and learn about their culture and learn about what's important to the people here and their ways. As a sociologist and somebody who's very much into anthropology, I like learning about people. It's always research for me and to understand, because when you understand somebody, you love somebody and you appreciate them. So I met some few interesting people. A fun announcement is that we finally found a car. We found a traveler van of sorts. It's some kind of like top of the line used luxury travel van, kind of like the yuppies in Southern California, where you have your seats and you can take them out and you can camp in them and do stuff. So we got one of those because that's what we want to do with our families: travel around Europe and give our kids that outdoor experience and to see all the beautiful historical, ancient, beautiful places in France and throughout Europe. So we got that. And we met a lovely guy. His name is Nicholas. He manages the auto shop, or the dealer, and he was able to hook us up and give us a really good deal. And he was so nice and gracious, and without even charging us any money, he let us have a rental car until our car gets delivered, because in France it takes about 7 days to get your car. It's not like in America where you go to a dealership and they trap you for 12 hours and high pressure you and try to bargain with you to buy everything, and the second you get off the lot, your car's worth half the price. It's not like that in France. Your car maintains its value. You sign a contract, you give your cash money deposit, and then a week later, after they get it ready for you, in our case, put new tires on, make it nice and shiny, correct the paint, double check the engine for warranty purposes, which is automatically a year here in France, then we can have our car. So until then, he gave us a rental car, which was incredible. I would never even expect that in the US. You'd have to pay so much money and go through so much paperwork and buy extra insurance. And not in this case. They just asked us to see our license, gave us a rental car, and now we had a rental car because in his mind, he said, you're going to need this car to get Christmas presents and go holiday shopping. And he was right. We didn't even ask for it. We didn't even know it was something that was available. So this was just an extra special thing that made us feel so very much welcome. And Nicolas even invited us to some events in the future to meet other people that he knows here in Castelnaudary. So I just feel so very lucky to have met him and to continue to meet so many people. If you saw last episode, I met Laura, now I met Nicolas, and I've met even more people. If you notice something different, my hair got cut. Franck needed a haircut desperately, so did our son. And so I muscle tested and did some energy check of the different locations in town. And the one place that came was Coiff&Crew, Coiff&Crew in French. And I said, Franck, you're going to go to this hairstylist, Xavier. Didn't even know it. No pictures of him, no pictures of his clients. Sent him over there, and Franck went and got a haircut. Normally he hates his haircut, but this time he actually liked it and came home and he said, this is the best haircut I've ever had in my life. So I'm going to let him explain to you why he likes his haircut and what makes working with Xavier so different and special. So here you go. Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
So you can talk to everybody.
Yeah, just quickly, like usually as a man, not with the greatest, hair that I was born with, you go to a barber, even a fancy one in California. It's very mechanical, 30 minutes, you just feel in and out,
Well, you
even
don't even get your hair washed.
yeah, yeah, it's just
They just spray it.
anyway, so here is this, Castelnaudary, very small town. You will not expect, I mean, a good barber certainly. But anyway, I get there, I get my hair washed, and then all of a sudden, like you can see, and I've seen artists, their craft, and here he study the head, he just really feel it, and he cut from a feeling deep inside. You can really feel that sense, and so he did my son's haircut first, and it was amazing. And then my son just joke and say like, "Oh, I look like David Beckham." And so I translate that for the guy, Xavier, and he's like, "Yeah, I cut his hair, and actually I cut this hair, and I cut Johnny Depp's hair, and I cut
Tim Burton's
Tim
hair.
Burton's hair." And I just discovered actually this guy from this tiny town won so many contests,
World competitions.
world competition contests,
Yeah. He's
and
impressive.
yeah,
So
so.
Frank was happy for the first time in his life. So thank you, babe. So what was the coolest thing about that was just seeing my husband happy for the first time with his hair because you can see it's not the thickest, luscious Brad Pitt style hair. It's very thin. And, he feels happy now with his appearance. I think that's really important for any kind of man who struggles with their hairstyle. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna get a hair refresh. I wanted to see. So I went in and I just said to Xavier, you know what? I didn't even say anything. I said, just kind of cut it short here, trim it, do whatever you want. So he looks at my head and I have cowlicks everywhere. And he studies the top of my head and he studies the flow of my hair. And he's just looking at it, he's moving it. And he just starts cutting. And I swear to you, he looks like he's like Edward Scissorhands and he's just doing it and it's flowing. And we're talking, and he said, sometimes you just have something that's just so innate in you that you just do it without even thinking. You do it without having a plan. It's so intuitive. And I said, I get that. I absolutely get that. And so he cut my hair, he cut it with all this, and I don't even comb it. It just flows and it goes naturally and it goes around my face and it kind of gives me a little bit of bang. I'm just really happy with it. So I posted a little video of me on my Instagram feed tagging his salon. I'm the very first post that his salon's ever had because he just opened in September. He just opened his salon here in September. And I feel very honored to be that person to just appreciate him and his talent. So that's the newest person I've met, my hairstylist, which is great because I was really stressed about not having a hairstylist. The next thing I need to find is a manicurist and somebody to do pedicures. So pray for me that that happens. So I am in the kitchen. It's been almost 10 minutes and I haven't told you what I'm cooking tonight. So let's get into that. So tonight I'm going to show you something very French. It's Picard, which is a very specialized store. It's only frozen food. And of course, it's not just any kind of frozen food. Picard makes like the best of the best frozen food. So if you have guests over and you want to wow them, but you don't want to cook and you don't have time to prepare and do all these things, you can go to Picard and you can throw it in your oven and you can make it. I know if my girlfriend Raphael, she's kind of my French mama, if she's seeing this, she's gonna totally make fun of this and totally make fun of me because she's my food and culture police, and she always says that that's not that eclair you shared wasn't the best kind, whatever. But I don't care. This is what we're doing. I don't have my my electricity went out, guys. So I'm going to take a break. So what you just witnessed was our power going out. So we're living in this Airbnb and about 3 to 5 times a day the power goes out. And it's wild. The lady owner has her office underneath, and so the breaker switch is down there. She'll turn it back on, but when she's not here, Frank has to go down there with a flashlight and turn on the power. I can't be mad because you have to remember, and this is an important point, Castelnaudary is 1,000 years old. This is a medieval village that we live in. So the wiring on all these historical buildings is not going to be the best. And so we're not going to judge. We just take it in stride. So as I go back, we're going to have a Saumon en croûte, which is, it has spinach in it, white wine, and then salmon inside of a crusty, flaky exterior. My mother-in-law makes them. I don't make them. And as I was trying to say before the power went out, I don't have a full kitchen. I don't have everything. I don't have a food mixer. I don't have anything at all to make my stuff. It's all in a container, making its way through the Pacific to get to my house. So what are we going to do in between? We're going to reset the oven. We got about 30 minutes of cooking to go. And we're going to let that cook. The other thing that we're going to make is we're going to make steamed frozen broccoli. They're gorgeous though. We got those at Picard. And what we actually got was a new home appliance called a Moulinex Cookio. I'm not selling these. I'm not affiliated. We went to another town where there's like an outlet mall, like a Galerie Lafayette outlet and other outlet malls stuff, very typical American. And basically what we could do with this is make yogurt and, bain-maries and pressure cook and make all sorts of stuff. And it also is a steamer, which is something I really, really like. And I told you last episode, I love steamed vegetables. I think that's the best way to preserve the nutrients inside of vegetables. So we're going to set that up for the very first time. And then we're going to have that as a side with salad and bread and cheese and all these things. So that's our dinner for tonight. So besides meeting the magical hands of Xavier, who else did I meet? I met some cool people. I have some footage that I'm going to put in here with all of this that you've seen in the beginning of the people I've talked to. And this really cute couple named Jerome and Patricia. They are apicultors. They are beekeepers and they make their own honey and they have different flavors. And their flavors go from like super light honey to almost like super strong flavored honey. And this one I bought is the Summer in the Hills. And I swear to you, it tastes like almost like you're hiding in the mountains and you're tasting flowers and fresh grass and sweet air. That's what it tastes like to me. I'll take a taste right now and just give you a little bit of a description. And so, you could eat it just by itself. It's so good. It's like a candy. It's natural. And so Jerome tried in the most broken, cute English to explain, how he makes them. So he moves these bees to this very specific parts of the hills and the mountains. And he said that on a good day, his bees could make 6 of these jars in a single day. Not only that, they take the wax and they make from their own molds these wax little candles. This one is like a meditating kitty cat. It is the cutest thing ever. And it smells like honey. This whole thing right here, $15. And it is so good. One tip I'm going to tell you about honey that I didn't even know was that Patricia said that if you take hot water and you're making a tea, right? And you take your honey, if it's boiling water or super hot water, putting the honey in it will actually destroy all the medicinal properties of that honey. Jerome and Patricia advised that just right before, when your tea cools down and you're about to drink it, that's when you put your honey in. That's when you're going to get the properties. So there's a lot of healing properties from this. If you're traveling and you're taking, instead of taking allergy medicine, take some honey instead, because that'll help you adjust to the pollen in the area. So I've been told. So this is something that they made by themselves. And that's what I love about France, is that they take a lot of pride in the things that they make. That was, and their company's name is called Alchimiel. So instead of alchemy, it's alchimiel. So like honey, alchemy, but with the word honey, miel in French. I thought that was a really, really cute name. I'll include in my show notes the address and the number and the Facebook page of Alchimiel. Then the other couple I met was Camille and Cécile from L'Odeur de la Pluie, and they translate this as smell of the rain. And what I got from her was 2 little goodies. This was her own raspberry jam. It's like a coulis, but you could put it in the fridge and then make it kind of harden a little bit. But I am a big sucker. Oh my God, guys, it smells so good. Think of the tastiest, juiciest raspberry you've ever tasted in your life, and that's what you have right here. It's so floral. I could probably just take scoops of it and eat it just like that. The other thing that I got was this lamp from her. So not only does she grow her own raspberries and makes a little coulis, she has a flower farm. And she takes these gorgeous little flowers and she dries them. She makes bouquets. She had Christmas wreaths. She had all sorts of beautiful things. And then I got this little lamp from her. I thought, oh, this would be great on table or in my backyard, or if I go camping, I can have a little light. She made this and she glued her little flowers on there. So thank you so much, Camille, Cecile. And they have 2 little babies, little toddlers. And I swear to you guys, they look like North County Oceanside hipsters, farmers. I mean, these people are just so cool. And one thing I thought about when Frank and I were driving through the hills here in Castelnaudary is how much it feels like I'm in the northeastern blue states. It just feels like that, very liberal, but yet very agricultural and very homey and crafty. So that was really fun. Let's see, what else is good to tell you? The other thing I have to say that, we're going to get some politics here, but it's sociology, it's economics, it is politics, it is law. But I have to tell you, I went grocery shopping, and I don't mean like grocery shopping, because that's, I'm not talking about fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm talking about basic things like, what did we get today, babe? I mean, Snickers bars, and we got ramen, and we got lotion, and we got all sorts of things. And the prices were so incredibly low. Like the things I would get in the States, my bill for all this stuff, I had 2 giant bags of things. It was 43 euros. In America, it would have cost me 125 bucks. And all I could think this whole entire time as I was going through the store was, Americans are getting ripped off. We are getting ripped off. And capitalism, which ultimately means monopoly, means that we're getting price gouged. And it's not necessary for us Americans to get price gouged by these large corporations. We are getting price gouged. And the price of eggs here is not like it is in the US. So if anyone wants to say that socialism makes food prices high, it doesn't. I have to tell you, Americans, we are getting ripped off, and we can afford to control the prices of groceries so that way corporations can still make profits, but not to the point where they're hoarding billions and billions of dollars, enough for a GDP like Apple, and keeping money from the flow of people in the economy. I just have to say, if anybody here is listening and you think, Republicans and corporations are going to save America, you just heard Donald Trump say it's really hard to get the price of groceries to go down. Yeah, well, no, not in France. My father-in-law, who was born in 1942, will say that the prices have gone up extraordinarily. But when you compare from the United States to France, I'm sorry, but we Americans are getting price gouged. Seriously. There's still enough room on the table for companies and investors to make money, but not at the extreme economic disparity that we have now. Which leads me to the next point. For next week, I'm trying to make an application for a Master's of International Economic Law at the University of Toulouse. It's a 2-year program. You've been with me long enough. I went through 4.5 years of law school studying on my own. Really hard. But there's just something in me that says, you know what, let's go a little bit further. I love corporate governance. I love economic law. I love policy, helping people to make more money. And you've seen this with me with the money formula, that when I was doing the Women's Financial Freedom Tour, promoting the book and getting the book out there, donating the book to nonprofits, my main goal was to empower women to remember that we do control 80% of consumer spending. We control most of the nation's wealth. Most of single households are mothers, single woman mother households. And so family households are led by single mothers. And so women do control the purse strings, but we do not control the access to money. White, male, bankers control the access to money. Lawmakers control the access to money. Who can get a loan, who can work in venture capital and get capital. I'm going to tell you this, and you can't tell me otherwise. I worked in venture capital, coaching owners of venture capital firms and people who got $170, $200 million for their companies. I coach these people, and I know how venture capital works, and I know how banking works. And I can tell you this right now, it's all led by white men. And if there's a woman in it, she's a white woman, and she got her opportunities from her daddy. And that's what I've seen from my own experience. If you've worked in venture capital and you think that Black women and Asian women and Chinese men who are not from China have access to that money, you got a different story to tell, add it here. But I think you and I both know that the access to capital is determined by white Christian males in America. That's just the way it is. So you know this from me. You've seen this from me for the last 10 years. But hey, let's go even further. Let's study European economic law. Why is it different from American law? I studied corporate governance from UC Berkeley Law. I studied it with Cornell Law, and I also studied ESG investing with Harvard Business School. And America does not have corporate governance. Corporate governance means is that the corporations are not exploiting their workers. They're not exploiting their consumers. They are actually holding value. And I talk about that in an upcoming book that I just got mostly edited. It will be coming out. It's called Bad Laws, how American legal history reveals the American character. And in one of the essays in that book is I talk about my experience in coaching in the corporate world. And I've coached in the corporate world all over the United States. I've coached in pharmaceuticals and venture capital and action sports and consumer goods and food and beverage. I've coached across all industries, executives. And there is no corporate governance in America, very little corporate governance. Corporate governance also means allowing diverse individuals to sit on the board. And that's what corporate governance is about board membership and how people can actually control the corporations. Everybody wants to be a CEO and a CFO and all of these. That means nothing. You basically work for the board, and the board works for the investors. And the investors are the people who have and hold the money. So in America, we hardly have that. And that's the reason why we see so many companies fail and get bailed out. And we have to stop that. We have to have sustainable businesses. And I argue in this essay and in this book from the shareholder primacy theory, which means we're only here to make money for the shareholder. Screw the employees, screw the consumers, screw the people whose land around us that we're polluting. I argue instead of that, we should think about stakeholders, the community, the consumers, the suppliers, and make it more sustainable. So I talk about that in my upcoming book. But my point is that from real lived experience, me going to get groceries with everybody else and what could be equivocated as like a Walmart or a general dollar store, we are getting price gouged. We shouldn't need general dollar stores and dollar stores, which in America are starting to fail because it's no longer economically viable. We shouldn't need these types of stores to get good food and to get things at a reasonable price. We shouldn't as Americans. But the economy is changing. Very, very, very much so. And if you follow me long enough and you understand my passion for economic law and social justice, and me having grown up in poverty and work in poverty and having 26 cents to my name to becoming a millionaire, I know the path and I know the barriers. And I am very much passionate about helping people realize what their rights are and to recognize when they are being legally exploited. And it's happening all over America. And I talk about that in my book. And my book is to empower you so you are not exploited by legal means. And it's happening across all industries, insurance industries, healthcare. It's happening in work and in your contracts. And when you buy things and consumer goods, it's happening all across the board in America. And I bring that out with some history and facts and data and statistics. And from my own experience of coaching across industries, some insight and some empowerment that not only can we criticize what's going on in America, but we can actively work together to empower each other to make it better and really create a more perfect union. So that's kind of what I've been up to, girls and boys. Getting ready for Christmas. Oh, I want to share with you a hat I got at Galerie Lafayette. I got it on sale. It's 14 euros. And I just thought, so cute. And it covers my ear. I don't have earmuffs. What do you think? I look like a little babushka. I love that. It's faux fur. It's not real. What do you think? We're not in the super heart of winter yet, but that'd be fun. So I hope you guys are having a great time so far. It's my second week in Castelnaudary. I'm really loving it. And I kind of feel like I was walking around the Christmas market and thinking, I feel like I'm in a Hallmark movie. That's what I feel like. And I feel like I'm able to slow down. And I love, like, yesterday I was going to print the draft of my upcoming book. I'm walking across the street and I see Laura. She honks at me and waves. And I love that small town vibe. I love that feeling. I love being able to walk past the store and say hello to people who are working there that I know, which is what I did when I lived in Vista, California. I love that little place. And I just wanted more of that small town vibe. I really wanted that for my kids. I love that I can tell my kids to walk the dogs around the block and I don't have to be with them. They can go by themselves and I know to be safe. So that's my experience. Thank you so much. I'll take a quick video at the end of this and show the salmon on croûte in a crust and what we have. And I hope you guys are having such a great time so far. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I'm not selling anything. I'm just sharing my journey. If you like me and you like my books and you want more financial empowerment, emotional intelligence, if you love French culture, I've got my book La Libération, and it's very spicy and very feminist. You can enjoy that. And this is my world, and I'm going to start to introduce you more and more to the people in this world and all the things that I'm doing and all the things that are important to me, and finding all the ways that I can help you make your life more peaceful more joyful, more healthy, and more happy. And I'm going to learn from my mistakes because there's nothing feels better than knowing that you were wrong. And I'm going to find all the ways that I'm wrong and make them right. And I'm going to find all the ways to make life good and share them with you. So thanks for joining me on this episode 2 of Leslie and Castelnaudary. I'm Leslie, and thanks for joining me. From my family to yours, I'm Leslie and Castelnaudary. Bon appetit.